I have always enjoyed the notion of the sleuth, the detective. The person who starts to see some things and then says, wait a minute, let me put together some patterns, trends, things that I'm seeing, excuse me, that are happening on a regular basis. The way we look at clouds and we see, oh, it looks like a duck. It looks like see the shape of the Eiffel Tower. That's who we are. We see trends. We see, you go to bed at night and there's snow on the ground, and you wake up in the morning and there's, rabbit or deer tracks. You realize there was a deer. Circumstantial evidence. You didn't see it, but it leaves evidence of such. We're able to put together trends. We're able to catch serial killers that way. We're able to look whenever, remember years ago, the Legionnaire's disease, when epidemiologists look to see where is this coming from, where? What are we noticing? What's going on here? There right now is a movement, and admittedly, I will tell you that I think sometimes it's a little bit exaggerated and a little bit too aggressive in trying to point out and trying to blame, when at all possible, COVID vaccine, mRNA, boosters, and the like. Whenever a celebrity dies, there are wonderful Substack articles of people who are constantly canceling concerts, famous singers and actors, and those who are sick taken to their bed, drop dead, debilitated, who have strokes, who have suffered coronary incidents, and those who, ironically or causally, were loud and vociferous proponents of vaxxing and boosters and all of this other kind of stuff. And they obviously put together the fact that they're saying, aha, it must be because of that. Therefore, and it's the therefore thing which I have a problem with. Therefore, the reason for that must be because they've taken the vaccine, and the vaccine must have caused this, and the vaccine, that sort of thing. And it could be, but you're not going to see anybody from Dr. Fauci or Pfizer or anybody say, hey, you're right, And yet there are a number of people, prominent folks, who for the most part kind of kept quiet, but now are putting together these very interesting connective tissue type of stories where people are suggesting that that's indeed the reason why people died. Do not discount them. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friend, on September the 11th, I was in New York at the time, and I saw a number of things that happened. And at 5:20 p.m., when nobody was watching, when nobody cared, there was a building called Building 7, WTC 7, that at 5:20 p.m. just fell at basically free fall speed without being hit by anything. Later on, NIST suggested it was because of carpet fires and some kind of structural disintegration that was caused by fire, or from the rough and tumble percussive wind vectors of attended buildings falling, or something equally as preposterous. One day, we will be vindicated. I think we pretty much have, and we'll say that was either some type of, I don't know what, you might say controlled demolition, or something else that maybe we don't know about, or maybe something that we know about, but the government officials don't want to tell us about. I don't know. Because remember, do never lose track of the fact that the conspiracy theory could be also Al-Qaeda or the very bad guys who are purported to have been responsible for this in the first place. Okay. Goes geoengineering. For the long time, geoengineering, we said, hey, look at this. There's nothing there. That's a chemtrail. It's not a chemtrail. Excuse me. That's just a condensation trail. That's a contrail. And sure enough, now we're seeing, no, it's called geoengineering, and it's dimming, and so everything we know is right. Remember, years ago we said the CFR, there's no such thing as a CFR. Now they're on Park Avenue. And Bilderberg, there's no Bilderberg, you're crazy. Sure enough, then there's a website. So we're always right. So while we might be right, and while these sleuths may be actually correct ultimately regarding the cause of death, causa mortis, so to speak, of death. There may be a connective, some type of causality factor versus correlation. Do not discount this. Do not discount this. Do not dismiss this as crazy. Do not dismiss the notion of this as some kind of sheer and inherent idiocy or something along the lines. I listen to people. When somebody says something long enough, no matter what it is, when enough people, enough of the right people, say enough of the right things over a period of time, I believe that there is something that ultimately will be found to be a part of it, where there's something to this. And for those people who for the longest time either suspected that what they consider to be a witch's brew of concocted chemicals in the various forms of the vaccines, to those individuals who thought it might have been everything from a Bill Gates conspiracy, nanotechnology, some kind of a depopulation exercise, all of those factors taken into account. There is something to this. Now, their zeal, their, as you might say, their conspiracy theory aspect of it. Because whenever you say anything that bothers people, you are called a conspiracy theorist. God forbid they would ever listen to you and say, hey, maybe this guy's, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody who says, hey, maybe we should pay attention to your claims that maybe there is something to, this kind of a pandemic of untoward death or whatever. But aside from that, so there's something to this. And I want people to continue with your suspicion. If you believe there to be something wrong with it, say it. Now, whether Matthew Perry, who knows? I have no idea. I'm not looking at this. But yes, he was a proponent of there's 150,000 people who die around the world every single day. So death is a very, very important thing. And of that, getting the numbers right, I would say more are vaccinated than you can imagine. And people also die of comorbidities, which may or may not have been exacerbated by a vaccine. I don't know. Same thing with guns. Why do people die from gun violence? Why do some countries that have more guns, why do less people die from gun violence? Why do we have the lunatics in this country? Why? All of those things. All of those things are important. And all of those things must be looked at. But do me a favor. In the meantime, do not necessarily dismiss the suspicions of individuals as being crazy, when in fact there may be something, and I bet you in some cases there most assuredly will be something to explain why this seems the way it is. Thank you, dear friend. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell, and activate the notification windows and the like, and comment as you see fit.